Welcome to another episode of Woman Witness Podcast, The Stories at the Well. It's a platform where we bring together voices of women who are out here making a positive difference in their community, in their lives, in the world around us. Today, I have such a special episode for us today. I have a special guest with us. I'll introduce you to her. Her name is Lena Payton. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and read her bio, and then I'll go ahead and introduce her. Lena Payton Webb is a leader in the art and publishing industry, heading Blue Impressions Designs and Publishing LLC for over 3 decades. She creates customized designs and works as a certified graphic designer and digital artist. Lena is also an author, a coach, and motivational speaker, inspiring countless individuals to pursue their creative instincts. She is an Army veteran of 21 years and has received numerous awards and recognitions. Thank you so much for your service. Lena is also the co-director of LitCom Inc., nonprofit. Cannot wait to hear about that. Her passion for empowering individuals to creatively express themselves and achieve their publishing aspirations is a driving force behind her success. Lena resides in Alabama with her family and pets. Please give a warm welcome to our guest, Lena Payton Webb. Welcome, Lena.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. This is not even in my notes, but you have a pet. What kind of pets do you have?
I have three. I have three. They're classified as dogs, but they're actually humans. So I have two Shih Tzus and a Yorkie Poo, and they're my best
Oh,
buddies. They're working with me now. Sleeping.
oh,
Yes.
are they tiny?
No, the
Yorkie is.
smallest one is about 9 pounds. Is the smallest one. Yes,
Oh,
about 12 is 15 is the big one. He's about 14, maybe 14 pounds.
oh, okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Lena, I know I just introduced you and told a little bit of your background. However, I want to give you the floor. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Lena. Who are you?
Again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Lena Payton Webb, and I currently reside in Daphne, Alabama, by way of Detroit, Michigan. I'm an Army veteran. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a new grandmother. I have a grandson. He is a whole 5 months old, so I'm embracing my life now. It is totally different. It is something I could have never had imagined this much joy and love from one little bitty human being. So I'm loving that. And then in the space of my profession, I am a digital artist by trade, a graphic designer, and a publisher. So I love helping people to tell their stories in a unique and creative way. So that is the ministry God has put me in, and that's where I thrive and live and love.
Wow. I love that so much, and such an impressive ministry that God gave you. And I love the fact that you're out here helping people express themselves through their art. Have you always known that you wanted to be an artist?
Yes and no. So I knew I liked doing things digitally. So I went to school for graphic art, and I've been
Mhm.
a certified graphic artist for over 30 years. So I did a lot of work, in the traditional realm, right? Like at print
Yeah.
companies, newspapers, things like that. But then God had a different plan for me. So I'm thinking I'm in the Army doing my thing. I mean, living it up, traveling the world, being all I can be is the thing I say, right? That's the motto they teach us, right? So I
Yes.
was doing that. And then God said, I need you to do something different. I
Mm.
made you creative for a reason, and I need you to do that. So he put me on a different path, right? So I ended up with cancer. So the
Mhm.
cancer I thought was the thing, right? So I was like, this is going to slow me down. What is the purpose behind this here? And I'm thinking foolishness, right? At that time,
Right.
the purpose.
Right.
Why, Lord? Why? Not why, right? I didn't listen. I did not listen to what he had to say. So God said,
Mhm.
well, I'll take your eyesight. So he took my eyesight while I was fighting cancer.
Really?
Yes, yes.
The whole
Oh,
outfit.
wake up one day, cannot see a thing. Eyes burning, on fire. Can't turn the lights on because it hurt. Can't turn the TV on because it hurts. The doctors had no idea what the issue was. They said, oh, it's just some kind of reaction to the chemo treatment. And I'm like, Lord, how am I supposed to go back to being all I can be and I can't not see?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I tell you, when God says, listen to me,
Yeah.
you will listen to him. He put me in a place where I had no choice but to listen to him. he warned me now with the cancer. He was like, okay, well, you're going to sit down and be quiet and do what I need you to do with this cancer. And I
Yeah.
tell you, I was in the hospital getting cancer treatment with my chemo pole, trying to walk 2 miles for the Army. And see, he said,
Whoa.
he was like, Lena, God talked to me like, Lena, what you doing? I done tried to slow you down with this cancer, and you up here walking 2 miles every day with this chemo. Where they do that at? And so
No.
that's when he said, you know what? Let me just sit you all the way down because you don't know how to listen to me when I talk. That's the conversation me and him had. He was like,
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I can laugh about it today, but back then, honey, I could
It
not.
wasn't funny.
It
Yeah.
was not funny. It was not funny. It was not funny. So yeah, he tried
Mm.
it. He tried to slow me down. Looking back on it, he tried to slow me down. He tried to tell me, and I
Yeah.
was just like, let me just be all I can be. Let me stay fixed. I know I got to go back to this man's army. And God
Yeah.
says, no, man,
No.
you have done enough. Your time there in that army is done, right? Your time there is
Ooh.
done. I have something else for you to do. You know you're creative. You've already been trained for this. I need you to do it.
Wow.
And so there from that place on, once I was able to get my eyesight back, I was determined to use my gifts and talents to do his work and his will in a different way. And so it came by way of a coloring book.
A coloring
So
book.
I was sitting up in the hospital one day, the little nurse, the volunteers come to your room. She's like, would you like some water? Would you like a book? Would you like a coloring book? Now I'm like, this lady see me in here every day in the dark. How's she gonna ask me for a book? And
Yeah.
at this point they had kind of got me kind of stable. It was about a month or so in, but I still could not see, but they stopped it from burning as much. So I was like, let me get the water and let me get the coloring book. So I would take the coloring book like this, and I would open it up and I would put it up to my face because it would have big lines in it.
Yeah.
And I would just make myself try and focus and see the lines in this coloring book. Now the coloring book had Barney, it had ABCs, it had 1, 2, 3s. It looked like a book my grandson should be using here in a
Right.
couple years. So so I was like, this book has nothing to do with me. It doesn't represent me. It doesn't represent the things that
Right.
I love or
Right.
anything like that. So once I got better, eventually from the physical trauma, I would then have to use journaling to try and cope with things on the mental level, right? So once all that kind of subsided, I was like, well, if I have a problem finding things that resonate with me, other people do too. So God,
Yeah.
this must be what you want me to do. You want me to use my creativity to help them to get
Right.
their voices out, to get the tools that they may need in their business, right? Or in life in general,
Yeah.
to help them tell their story. So that's kind of in short how we got to this place where we are now.
Wow, Lena, my mind is going a million miles per hour. So you mean to tell me, hold on, I know, see, you already talk about the faith and you talk about you know God's voice, okay? One, I will say this, I wrote a book called Restoration is Prohibited Without Obedience. Okay, so this is what I'm always trying to be obedient, and I don't always get it right. I know that feeling of when God is telling you to do something and you like, no, no, I don't think so. Maybe not right now. Then my mind goes straight to Apostle Paul, right? You know that one. Did you read how did what was going through your mind during that time? You knew it was coming back. Did you know it?
I did not know. I did not know. They did not know. They didn't know if it was going to come back. It would take me about 4 to 5 years to get my eyesight back. And it's still not what it was. But to me, I
Is
feel like I have 20/20 vision, right? Because I can see, right?
oh
But
my
it's not where it was. It has never been back to where it should, where it was before. But
wow.
I can see. Thank God for contacts and glasses and the
Yes.
ability to blow up your screen, right? And to enlarge the
Yes.
phones. So I see so clearly now, differently, right? In more
Differently.
ways than one. In more ways than one. I value life. I value the things that I love. I value experiences. I value people. I value friendship. I value all those things that we take for granted.
All is
You know?
yeah.
Oh my God, no longer. No
No
longer. If
longer.
it's something I don't want to do, guess what? I'm not doing it.
Amen.
I'm not wasting my time
Amen.
on stuff. I mean, life is too too short. God puts us here for a short time to experience so much of his glory, right? And we take a lot of it for granted. We take a lot of it
Yeah.
for granted. And I try not to do that. Even though I'm
Yeah.
human, it still happens. Some things still happen, but I try and be more intentional on life experiences now. And I just try
Yeah.
and live to the fullest. Yeah.
We haven't even got started well, but I mean, you've given me definitely a new outlook on a lot of things right now because here you are still pouring. Okay, so Lena, your work both as an artist and a writer speaks volumes and about the impact of words and faith can have on one's life. Could you share with our listeners a little bit about your journey? You told us a little bit about it, but how these two elements have influenced your own healing process.
I think it becomes a lifestyle. So
Yeah.
it's like almost anything that I entwine with now has to be in alignment with that. I just can't just work on any type of project or any type of or work with any type of person, whatever book it is, it has to have purpose, right? It has to have a meaning. It has to have something positive, something inspirational. So I take that on like in every step of my life, everything. So if it's not in alignment with what I'm called to do, kindly refer you to somebody else. And it's not that I can't do it, and it's not that it's just not I can't service you in that capacity. I can't give you all because it's not in alignment with what I do.
I like the way that you put that because I think a lot of times we do things just trying to be nice, right? We enter into relationships or we enter into business transactions where we're just trying to be nice, right? But I hear you so loud and clear that, when you start seeing life differently, you can say, no, no, thank you. I can't give you all that I really have because I'm not fully sold on it or
Right.
I'm not
That
a hundred
or we
percent
do
in.
it for money, right? I mean, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, a lot of people do things for money. Okay, I don't care what it is. You want me to write that book? You want me to put? I can do it. Just give me the money, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I tell you, doing things that you're called to do, the money will come, right? Because you have the
Yes.
purpose, you have him behind you, and he's gonna supply every need, right? So
Every need. Yep.
doing the thing that you're not supposed to do is blocking the thing you're supposed to do, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
So if
Oh, that makes a
I'm up
lot of
here
sense.
doing something I know I ain't got no business doing, the
Yeah.
thing that I'm supposed to be doing, you're taking up space. So I need you to move on out the way so I can do what it is I'm supposed to be doing. That's the thing. That's the thing. And you do so
Oh,
much more of it. And you'll have such a bigger impact on the world once you move those other things that's just taking up time and space and energy out the way. That way you can focus in on the thing that you are supposed to be doing. Whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is that God has called you to do. If you move the other stuff out the way, the abundance
yeah.
will overflow. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Elena, I could take that and run in so many different directions with it, but I want to say this for some of our listeners who are listening. And I talk about this in all my books, I talk about it in my podcast, even dealing with our own past trauma. Okay. If we don't unload and unpack that, that's taking up space for what God has for us to do. So I feel that so personally because for a long time, I held on to my trauma. I was mad at everybody and I didn't leave enough room. God was like, let that go because I have other things for you. So I'm trying to tell you, I can take that and run with it. Thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
think
sharing.
so many of us operate in that space. We hold on to it, and
Yeah.
it blocks us. It blocks
Yeah.
us from doing what we're supposed to do. It blocks us from His blessings. It blocks us from being purposeful. But we're human. But once we
Yeah.
recognize that that's what's going on, then it's time to do something about it. And I'm like you. I did the same thing for years. I was like, why? This was not the plan. I had planned to do another 10, 15 years in the army till they put me I was I'm gonna stay in here till they put me out. I wasn't trying to hear what God had to say at that time. And then even afterwards, I was like just kind of trying to
Just
figure out what it was I was supposed to be doing. And it took some time. And because I was so upset because it didn't go to the way I thought it was supposed to go, right?
yeah.
Realizing that the plan he had for me was way greater and way better
Yes.
than I could
Yes.
ever have dreamed of for myself. So once I got past that hurt, all those unexpected life turns, then yeah, it just took off on its own.
I love that so much. You do graphic designs for authors. I write children's books as well. So if I have a book that I have written, I will reach out to you and contract you to do it. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, so we work with authors who are already published, right?
Yeah,
Or those who are aspiring to be published. So let's say I have a concept and I want this children book, and it might be about, I don't know, taking out the trash and or talking to God or something like that. Then we will
yeah.
help you from concept to creation, from beginning to end.
No,
So that's one
okay.
approach. So some people say, well, I don't have time to write no book, but I know I need one, or I want one to go with my business or my brand. Then you'll talk
Yeah,
to us, we'll consult. It's almost like a therapy session, right? So we talk about what you want that book to do for your clients, right? Especially if you're in the
yeah,
mental health space or the spiritual space, we'll talk about what that book is supposed to do for the people that you serve. And then
yeah,
we'll create that for you or with you. And then hence there's your book that you have that then, and then we coach you on how to profit with that book. So we don't just say, "Here's your book, deuces,
yeah,
pieces," and
yeah,
good luck selling it. We say, "Okay, now this is the strategy behind that," and then we try and teach you how to leverage it using different methods. So be it workshops or in person or digitally or just selling the book itself. So it's different ways and
yeah.
concepts behind it. So yeah, so we can help you from everything from formatting it to the images to actually to publishing it. So we do everything from start to finish.
I love that, Lena. Yes, that's your purpose.
Yes,
There
it
you
is. It
go.
is.
It's so exciting seeing your work in
Yeah.
your hand.
Yeah,
You hold it
it is,
in
and
your
it's exciting to see to know that it goes beyond you. So if the
yeah,
book that it's not about you, right? It's about the people that you serve for
yeah,
Him, right? So it's just going to keep
yes,
going and going and going. So it's really
yeah,
awesome to see that to know that the work that you're doing is just not impacting that one person that may have contacted you to do the work, but
yeah,
that work is going to go to other people who are then going to be blessed by it or served by it. So it's the gift that just keeps giving, and it's
keeps
made custom for them, right?
yes,
So I work with women that has some type of trauma or setbacks or something like
yeah,
that. That book is made specifically for them. It's a workbook. It could be a coloring book. It could be any type of book, as long as it fits in that realm that we talked about. Um,
yeah.
Even hair. So we've done hair coloring books, like custom coloring books about hair. And that book might have tips in it, might have poetry in it. So it can look any
Ah,
way we want it to look. There's no right or wrong way to have it look.
no,
It just has to be inspirational. It has to have a message and it has to connect. So yeah.
I love that,
Yeah.
Lena. Okay, so side note, we're gonna have to talk. Okay,
Okay.
I have a publishing company too, and I write books. I wrote 16 books.
16. Oh,
And
I love it. I love it. I love it. I
yes,
love, you always say you ask an author about their books, they just light up like a Christmas tree.
oh, look, I'm not gonna take your time talking about me, but but I would. But you're right because when you talk about your stuff you wrote, you like you said, for any woman who is listening to this who is an inspiring author, I will leave Lena's information in here because you do have a story and I can hear her passion in it. And it's very important that when you're looking for a publisher or you're looking for an illustrator to find someone who is passionate about it. Find someone who is just as passionate about your story as you are. So I definitely hear you so loud and clear and I love and I hear your passion. That's why I said that we need to get together. We need to get together. Okay, so Lena, you are truly inspiring. So could you tell us a little bit more about how you came about with art, writing, faith, and how it intersects with your life? Now you battled cancer. You still have this love for art, right? It's always been there. It's right. So how did you put the two together? How did you say, I know God told you, but how did you know that this was going to be something? Something.
Yeah. So I think I knew when I thought set when I was going through therapy, right, with the
Yeah.
journaling and all that, and the books did not resonate with me. They looked like, they was just something you got off the shelf,
Yeah.
right? So the
Somebody.
images didn't look like me. The things that were in it did not look like me, and they did not connect with me on that level, right? Looking back, it's like, okay, well, if I can create it, because I knew I could create it, right? I could use my
Right.
talents to make my own. If I could do that for me, I could do that for other people. So God was like, yes, you
Mm.
can, and you will, and here we are. So yeah, so that's what we started making, connecting with other spiritual leaders, coming up with custom devotional coloring books. So it's a coloring book that has devotions in it, and it's a journal. So it does all the things. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It just depends on where you're at and how you want to convey your story. Everybody has one, right? So some people don't want to sit down and write about trauma, We don't want to write about that thing, or we can present it in a different way. Maybe it's a journal on healing. Maybe it's a coloring book with affirmation. So we can still tell our stories, but maybe in a different way. So just get a little creative with it. So maybe it's not as triggering, right? Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to write about some of the things that happened to me, but I could write about the things that how I felt when I came out of it, and that's still going to help somebody else, right? But without triggering me. So we try and just take a different approach to it because we know everybody has a story. Everybody, and I don't care who you are, everybody has a story.
Yeah. I like that. I love and I hear your passion and I think it's needed. I think so many people think that, oh, I'm going to take all, 40, 50 years and put it in a book. There's no way. You can't do it. And I love your technique and I like your approach. It's man, again, ladies, listen, you have to find a publisher. You have to find people who are not looking to trigger you or to expose you, but to help you write something that will be uplifting for other women to learn and to get past some of their own trauma because that's what it's all about, right?
It is. I've heard a publisher say, "Oh well, I think it was a writing coach." He says, "Well, the first thing I ask the client is, tell me about your trauma."
Oh,
Regardless to what type of book they may have came to you with, right, to
yeah,
write. But that's
right,
the book you want them to write about. Well, that might not be what I want to write about.
right,
Or I might want to write about it in a different way. Maybe I want to put it in a children's book so they can learn from a lesson. Maybe I don't may not want to talk about the specifics of my trauma.
right, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. And it's very important how you go about it and,
Yeah.
and make sure that person's healed.
That's
Um,
it. That's it. You want me to open up this trauma and then it's out. What's
yeah,
gonna what's gonna
yes,
happen with it, right?
right.
You done left me open with my trauma hanging over me, and I got to go out back out here into the world.
Writing and art are powerful tools to get over some of our hurdles that are trauma. We're just talking about this, right? My favorite Bible verse is Habakkuk 2:2-3. Write the vision and make it plain. And so many people feel like, I can't write a book. I don't have time to write a book. But journaling, coloring, doodling, talk to me about some of these different healing processes or healing activities that you can do to get your story out there or to work through some of that trauma. And I hope I'm asking that question clear.
I think I got it. So,
Okay.
so I'm a certified therapeutic art coach as well. So
Oh,
even just coloring, right? Coloring itself, the different colors tell you different things. It's a healing activity in itself. So the coloring book is just one tool of many. So you mentioned that that's one way. The journaling, right? Even and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be just a word. It could be a thought. But if you notice, if you start with a word, it's gonna go to another one.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna go to another one, right? So it might be a prompted journal, about
Hmm.
healing or affirmations. If you just start with something as simple as that, it's gonna go to another one. So if you have a
Yeah.
story, I would say to the person who says, "Well, I don't want to write a book, but maybe I could do a journal to help somebody." So start with a
Yeah.
prompted journal. It could be a prompted
Mhm.
journal with maybe affirmations that go along with the theme that maybe you're called to do. Then eventually, guess what? You'll be back for the next book because I always say an author writes a book to write the next book, right?
Yeah,
As soon as they
that's
get that
true.
first one out the way, right, we're ready for the next one. As soon as you get that first one out the way and you get it in your hand, be like, "Oh, I did that. Let me
Yes.
let me tap on back in, right? Because I got some
Yes.
more stuff I need to birth." And that's normally what
Yes.
happens. That's what happens almost every time. I've never heard an author say, "Well, I wrote this one book and I'm done."
Yeah.
I've
No, I haven't
never
either.
heard that. I've never heard
No.
that. I've never heard that.
No.
So if
Not
you're
unless
like, I don't know where to start, or I don't want to do, I just let me start with something that maybe may not be as detailed or complex. Let me do a prompted journal.
so
I had
even
somebody do
writing.
a blank journal. So the only words that they had was on the cover.
Oh, there you
So
go.
the message was the cover, right? So you
Yes.
something as simple as that. And then guess what? 2 months later, she was back,
Yeah.
ready.
Ready for
To
another one.
the next. Yeah. So just start. So it might be your favorite Bible verse. It might
Yeah.
be your favorite affirmation. It might be your favorite quote.
Yeah.
So whatever that thing is that resonates with you, that keeps you going every day, use that. You don't have to reinvent anything else. It could be as simple as that. It could be your quote. Let's put that thing on the cover. Let's put some lines on it. Let's make it look however you want, however it makes you feel, and you want the reader to feel when they're writing in that journal every day. That message, it can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be hard, and it's
No.
not. You're gonna feel so proud. You're gonna be like, that's
Yes.
my message. I put that out to the world, and somebody else is gonna benefit from it every day by looking at that piece of art with those words that I picked.
Mm. Yes, that is so true, so true, so inspiring. I think that advice for any listener who is listening is gold. It's pure gold. I mean, start somewhere and get yourself around a good community and get yourself around a good coach that can help you bring that vision to reality. I want to talk to you, Lena. I want to ask you now, as a faith-based speaker, I hear it all in you. Did you grow up in church? I don't know if I asked you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's a co-pastor here in Mobile. My dad was a
Oh,
minister as well. So yeah, what they call the PK
you
kids.
a
That was
PK.
us. That was us. That was us. That was us.
Oh, got it.
That
Okay, so you
was
were
us.
there
Yeah,
every
that's why I am going to
Sunday.
the military. I was like, okay, I go back home with this 8 o'clock curfew. I need to go and leave, right? So I was like, let me
Yeah,
go and join the army because I just can't keep doing this. But God was like, yeah, you might not be thinking you out here gonna do what they're doing. You just gonna do it differently.
got it. Okay. See, I hear it in you. And then I also hear when you hear God's voice, you heard it for a while. You recognize it. Okay, so I want to ask you, how do you connect the power of words and faith to inspire others in their own healing process?
Ooh. Okay. So the power of words. So, words, right? So we can choose how we use our words, right? So we
Oh,
can
yeah.
use faith-based word, and it doesn't have to be a faith-based per
No.
se, if you want to label it. So I just
Hmm.
think that the gift that we have to pour into other people, if we are selective on that, they're going to see God in us. They're going to see it, right? So you don't even have to say it. You don't even have to say, well, yeah, I'm this or I'm that or whatever. They're going to see him in you, and they're going to see him in your words, the words you select, the things you do, and how you carry yourself. Those right there just tell your story all by themselves. So they connect it because it's in you. It's not nothing you got to make up. It's not nothing you got to try and figure out. It's in you. So it's already in it. Just let it out.
It has taken me a while to understand that yes, words hurt. You know how they used to say sticks and stones may break a bones, but words will never hurt me, or names will never hurt me, but that's not true. And, I have three little ones right now, 6, 8, and 11. And, I have them choose their words carefully and think about the things that you are saying because your words are very powerful. So I hear what you're saying because even as we speak or how we encourage someone or how we snap at someone, you know, those words, they hold weight. I love that you said that. I love that you shared that because there's a lot of power in our words.
Sometimes we listen to things people tell us about ourselves or what we're doing, and you bring life to that if you live it, if you believe it. So power lies in within your words. So
Yep. When you emailed and I wrote down this question or something that you said you wanted to discuss. And I want to make sure that we are touching every point of it. You said you want to discuss how art and words heal. And I know we just got done talking about that, but we talked about it in a faith aspect. If let's say I'm new and I don't know much about faith, right? And we just talked about it a little bit, but I want to just bring it in a little bit more. We talked about coloring, we talked about outlining, we talked about using our words, but I want to ask you, do you think and do you know that art and words can heal?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So one, they've done it for me, right? That's how I overcame what I overcame. So for
Right.
me, when I went into that hospital, they told me that the treatment for leukemia was 4 months inpatient.
Mm.
4 months inpatient. So I'm in this hospital walking every day because I thought I was going back to the army. So
You
my
stayed there for
mind
4 months.
for 4 months. So my mindset was, okay, let me just go on and do my time and walk and get stay in shape. So when I come out, I will still be able to do my job I was an engineer officer in the army. So my mind
Mm.
process was like, just do it. So mentally,
Right.
I had already tapped out of reality to think that I was supposed to be walking on the hospital floor every day, 2 miles with a chemo pole. So this was my mindset. But that was me trying to survive mentally.
Right.
That was just where I had to go mentally to try and survive. The art part was me being able to use my eyes to try and see, but the colors and things like that, you just learn to appreciate art in a different way. And those were my gifts. Losing my sight was like making me realize that those were the gifts God gave me.
Those were the
And you've been
gifts.
taking it for granted all these years, right? That was one aspect of it. But then to heal from the mental part of it, I will go through counseling, journaling every day just to heal from that. So I know the power of words are, and I'm not even speaking from a faith-based place, just the
Right.
power of words and what we tell ourselves. Like, I didn't want to believe what they were telling me about this cancer. I didn't want to believe what they were telling me about my eyesight. And I would tell myself, I'm not going to be blind. I am going to be able to see, right? So I would have to pour into myself, right? So
Yeah.
I could have easily just laid there and closed my eyes and gave up
That's it.
and just gave up. God and me and the God around the people I know that was surrounding me was like, no, well, no, try this, or don't, just tap out. So the words have power, right?
Yeah.
They didn't know, and they won't tell you they don't know. They would just experiment on you, like they was putting all kind of foolishness in my eyes, just because they did not know. They
They
didn't
did
know.
not know.
But I would tell myself that there's more in you, and God has something else for you to do. So just keep going. So I would tell myself that. I mean, like every day, all day, because it would hurt
Wow.
me. I will open up them books some days and be trying to force myself to see what was on the pages, to the point that the page will be full of tears because it hurt so bad. But I just kept telling myself, if I just keep pressing, just keep pressing, just keep doing it, it'll be worth it. We
Wow.
are. So words heal, art heals. The combination between the two is powerful. That's why we're drawn to certain things, right? So that's why you
Yeah.
have to pick the picture that's on your wall or the colors in your room. They all have meaning for some
Yeah.
reason, right? They definitely heal. One
Yeah.
alone, but if you put the two together, they have such a great impact. And I think that the ability to put that stuff in a book is just different. One, it adds a whole nother layer to whatever it is you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Don't add
Yep.
creativity to their business or whatever they have going on. They leave out such key elements because God
Yeah.
is creative for a reason, right? If you think back to his day, or when you were little, or our ancestors, we're creative beings,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
We get so focused on doing the thing and making money and working, and we forget creativity was put here within us for a reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hear you so loud and clear. It's in you. That very thing, that very gift that God wanted you to see, he had to take it away from you just for a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your books that you've written and illustrated, and tell us where we can find them, and what, before you tell us where we can find them, tell us what inspired you to write them.
So my books, of course, are mostly are custom coloring books. So
Okay.
they're about my favorite is called I Decide My Vibe, because I refuse to let anybody else try and dictate how I'm going to feel.
Yes. I love that.
That is my favorite one. I mean, it's a simple coloring book with a girl with an
Oh,
afro, but that is my favorite. And then I have one that has, like, it's called Little Black Girls Are. It's a coloring book with affirmation for little black girls, because I didn't have that when I was a kid. And then same thing for boys. And
oh,
then
you made one for boys.
yes. And
I
then we have I have a book called Verses of Life. This is a book of poetry,
Yeah.
just from different experiences that I have
Yeah.
had throughout life. And then I have numerous journals and self-help books. So it just really
Wow.
doesn't matter how you want to get your story out, just as long as you get it out, right?
Yeah.
So most
Yeah.
people are like, oh, did you write a book about losing your eyesight and cancer? Nope.
Nope. You're not ready.
Nope.
You don't want to.
Nope. It'll probably come, but right now
Yeah.
I like the happy stuff, right? I like the
Yeah.
feel good stuff. I like so yeah. But if
Yeah.
that's what you choose to do, I'm here
Right.
to support you on it, right?
Right.
I have a special place for coloring books, especially custom coloring books, because I can make it look like what I need it to look like. And I can make it give the message that I want it to give in a different way, in a
Yes.
very different way.
Yes.
I don't know if
How
you
can
see
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna ask you. Ooh, is that
This is
I
a
love
coloring
that
book.
one. Wow. Yep, there it goes. I see it.
Yep,
Oh, that's
it's a
beautiful.
devotional coloring book. So it has images. Let me see.
I'll go over the other way.
I think it's this.
Oh, I see it now. Oh yes, that's
Yes,
beautiful.
it's just this one is a custom devotional coloring book. Um,
You drew that, Lena?
Yeah, we specialize in custom workbooks. So we have custom workbooks that have coloring pages in it, might have activity pages in it, that it has worksheets in it. So it doesn't matter what kind of book. Especially if you're in the service industry. If you're any type of you're a wellness coach, a mental health coach, a spiritual leader, if you're a consultant or a business owner, your book can look like whatever your clients look like. So however you communicate with them or whatever they need in the book, we will put it in there. Money matters. We work with grief coaches. So yeah, we could just make it look like whatever your clients need.
I love that. Man, that is nice. I love the fact that it's an activity book, a coloring book, and I love the detail. I'm all about the detail. That looks really good. Where can we find them at, Lena?
So yourartisticexpressions.com. So
Okay.
yourartisticexpressions.com. And when you're there, you'll get there's a free gift there as well. And there's 5 reasons, an ebook, 5 reasons author, coaches, and consultants should create additional streams of income using custom coloring books, workbooks, and self-help books.
Oh, wow. I love that. I know you'll send it to me and we'll leave it in the description below for all of our listeners to go and download that for free and get the books while you're there. I know I'll be getting mine. Lena, before we get out of here, I want to thank you for coming here to the well and sharing your story, sharing your truth, and pouring into us today. I'm truly blessed by this. You are helping me look at life in many different ways, in many different aspects, and just not taking advantage of the time that God has given us here and living it to the fullest and walking in our fullest potential and our purpose. So thank you so much for pouring that here at the well today. I want to give the floor back to you, and I want you to leave our listeners with just some words of motivation. Leave them with something to carry them throughout the week.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been indeed a pleasure and an honor. And I thank you for the experience and the opportunity to pour into your listeners, because you didn't have to do that. So that is so gracious of you. And to the listeners, every person has a story. Every woman has experienced something, either, and it doesn't have to be anything negative. It could be something positive, right? So why
Mm,
not share that experience God has given to you with someone else? Right? It doesn't
mm.
have to be, again, it doesn't have to be, everybody thinks, oh, it has to be something traumatic. No, it could be, I like sunshine. Share the sunshine with somebody. Somebody needs to be reminded of that sunshine, right? So share your story, whatever that looks like, be it in a book, a coloring book, a workbook, a self-help book. It can even be a blog. Share your story, right? That's what God has put us to do. Share his words, share his stories, and share your vision. So a lot of us forget about stories. That's how our history gets passed down. So make sure you share your story, and leave a legacy, right? Your words will be here much longer than you are. So, and then in closing, through art and through words, not only do we find ourselves, but we heal ourselves. So thank you again for having me.
Yes, Lena, be a witness. Let's go. Write your book, write your story, tell your truth. Okay, thank you so much. I got excited again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lena, for joining us here at the well. Thank you, ladies, for listening to our episode here. If you were blessed by this message and you know someone who needs to be reminded of their fullest potential, we ask that you share this episode. We ask that you follow Miss Lena and you get in touch with her if you feel that you have a story that you want to tell or you want to create some art and just get it out there. Contact her. The information will be in the description below. I want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Woman Witness Podcast, The Stories at the Well. I'm your host, Leah Fortier, and perhaps, maybe just perhaps, you were chosen for such a time as this to write and to tell your story, your truth. Until next time, bye. Bye, Lena. Thank you.